Extra, wherever you're watching us from in Kenya, East Africa and around the world. My name is Wahiga Mora. Many thanks indeed for finding time to be here with us. Now, over the next 3 hours or so, we'll be giving you the latest in the day's business, politics, sports, matters, education as well. So you need to sit back, relax and watch. We've got this all covered. Now, coming up shortly, I'm going to be telling you what are some of the big talking points of today. Right, now on this 9th day of January 2018, an estimated 1 million Form 1 students are reporting to secondary schools across the country for the next phase of their education. But despite the promise by the government to subsidize secondary education, parents continue to dig deep into their pockets for money to pay boarding fees, buy uniforms, among other costs. What are some of the big hits by the Ministry of Education in 2018 and big misses by the same body? Well, I discussed this topic with my guests in studio today, and we will also be monitoring the situation in various schools across the country. Those are my guests. Let me introduce them to you briefly. Dr. Nicholas Leting, he's a council member at KICD, plus the Vice Chancellor at the Management University of Africa. And right next to him is Amos Kaburu, who is with Twaweza East Africa. Gentlemen, karibu. I'll be coming to you shortly. Now, on the political front, the process of vetting the new cabinet nominees is expected to kick off today, a day after the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, was expected to formally receive that list. Now, the Speaker is out of the country on official business, but the Deputy Speaker is expected to carry out this same process in his place. As to whether the vetting will kick off today, that is yet to be seen. We'll be updating you on that. Elsewhere, in other news from the political front, Senate will be in session today as they carry out elections for the various committees. What will be, of course, of interest is whether NASA-affiliated senators will participate in those elections, even as the party insists that NASA leader Raila Odinga will be sworn in at the end of the month. And finally, 4 months after the government banned the use of plastic bags, a number of vegetable vendors and businesses are yet to adjust to this new system. Despite enforcement of the directive, plastic bags remain in circulation in some parts of the country. At the tail end of this program, we will be talking to the Director General of NEMA to find out what has worked and what hasn't worked in the enforcement of the plastic bag ban. Well, many thanks indeed for finding time to be here with us. Talk to us on our social media platforms about the topics we're discussing today at Citizen TV Kenya on Twitter and Facebook. Use the hashtag CitizenExtra, and you can SMS us as well. 22422 is our SMS line. Well, it's back to school, or not rather back to school, but a first time in this new phase of the education for almost 1 million Form 1 students. Let's find out what's happening in different parts of the country in regards to this. We begin in Kwale County, where Nikki Gitonga is on standby. Just let us know what sort of activities are happening this morning. Nikki, good morning. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Wahiga Mwaura. We are getting you live from Kwale National High School. Kwale National High School is one of the national high schools in Kwale County. In Kwale County, we have two national high schools, Matuga Girls and the school where I am today. We know that over 103 national schools, they're going to enroll their students today. With me here, I have the principal for Kwale National High School, Mr. Sombo, is going to tell us more about the enrollment of the student into his school. Maybe kindly you can start. How is the enrollment? So far, is there any students that have been enrolled today?
Yeah, our enrollment is for Form 1s, we are going to admit 240 students. We'll make a total of 1,000. The total students, population will be 1,150. And we are going to pay the government lay down, school fees. These are 53,000 shillings. And they have started trickling in. We saw a Form 1 coming, and I want to believe that at the gate they are trickling in. We are set for them. We have 5 streams, and we are set to admit all the 240 students Form 1s joining this school. And Okay.
Apart from the subsidies that we get from the government, are there any bursary maybe from the county government? Because how is the geographical distribution of the student? You know, it's a national school. Are there also students from Kwale that are also from this school?
Oh yeah, we have students from Kwale County. We also have students from almost all the counties in this republic. And the Kwale County government is paying 100% school fees for the students who come from Kwale County. Basically, this has been a great boost because these students, you know, have no issues. They are assured of their continuity in education when they join the school. And basically, the parent is only now left with now the pocket money, and also to monitor the progress of the academic, you know, performance in the school, which is great. And we have seen a tremendous improvement in terms of even their performance in school.
We had 141 A's in the last KCSE exam. Did Kwale National High School had any A's, and if not, why?
Now, we didn't manage an A plane, but we got 2 A-minuses, which to us is also great because this is credible results. And we are working at our areas of weakness. We improve in areas that we feel will also give us A planes. And we are set for that because we have 96 students joining the university from this one school, and which to us is an achievement.
Kwale National High School was a giant school during those days. That's why it was upgraded to a national high school. Then people may wonder why is it that now there is no even a single A? What happened? What is not that is not right?
Right. I want to believe that you're right when you say Kwale High School was a great school then. I being, you know, a former student of this school, I was here for the last 4 years. I went to French School Kamsinga for my A-levels before going to the university. What I was saying is that quite a lot of changes have taken place since that time. But, you know, as an institution, there are certain, you know, areas that there are times when they don't work well. All right, there have been changes in administration, and you know, each administration will have its own challenges. Otherwise, I think you look at the trend of Kwale High School, the improvement has been, you know, gradually. Yes.
My last question, what's the way forward? As we go forward, we expect that 4 months are joining today. What's the way forward? Do you expect good results in the near future or in the coming exams?
No, we expect good results, not in the near future, but it's beginning this year. The journey, the train has set off, and with the 2 A planes, in the basically even the previous year, 2016, we also had 2 A-minuses, and we want to believe that we are set. And the number of students who qualified to join a public, you know, universities last year was 80 students. Now this year, no, last year, for example, 2017 was 96. 2016 we had 80 students. So now you can see we are moving toward the right direction. And you see, these are quality grades. This is our students' honest, you know, results. Unlike, you know, before, when you would hear maybe an institution getting 200 A's, and these 200 A's are nowhere to be seen now. So for us, it's an achievement because it's credible results from our school.
Okay, thank you. Okay. That's the principal for Kwale National High School. We'll keep you updated, you guys, from here in Kwale National High School as the students keep trickling in to register for their Form 1s. That's all I have from Kwale County. My name is Nikki Gitonga. Back to you in studio.
Well, thank you so much, Nikki Gitonga, for that update from Kwale High School. And, of course, all the best to all the Form 1s there who kick off this new phase of their life. Just next to Nikki Gitonga on that screen there is John Wanyama from Uasin Gishu County. He's at Moi Girls High School, I believe, and he also will let us know what sort of activities are happening in that part of the country today, with almost 1 million Form 1 students reporting to various schools, at least from today up until, for the better part of the week. John, good morning. What's happening at your location?
Good morning, Mwaura, and as you've said, I'm at Moi High School here in Eldoret here, and as you can see clearly, Mwaura, parents have come here with their students trying to come and admit them, those who managed to get a chance in this school. And as you remember, the second best girl came from this school in the last year exam. So Mwaura, most parents woke up very early and they are here trying to ensure that their children really get admission to this national school. And with me, Mwaura, I'm with the Deputy Principal, Mrs. Caronay. If she can just tell us maybe how many students are they admitting here today, what is the process and what are the requirements. Madam, if you can come closer to me here. How many students are you now admitting?
We will admit 336 students. We may increase the number to 370. That is the number that we will accommodate.
Maybe, Moi Girls, what are the requirements that you ask parents to come with, uniform or whatever?
Uniforms, we ask for uniforms, game kits, 2 pairs of uniforms, game kits, pair of bed sheets, blankets, and a bucket and a metal box. Yes.
Maybe what are the procedure when a parent comes from the gate, comes in? What are the procedure and how long does it take?
At 6:45 we opened the gates and issued numbers to parents. That is done by our customer care department. Then from there we verify the documents. Then we give school admission number. Then we check the fees. Then they are admitted by the class teachers into their respective classes. Then they move to the dormitory to be admitted into the various dormitory. A process that takes about 20 minutes at most. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mwaura. Let me talk to one parent here maybe who has just admitted her daughter here. Madam, how was the process and maybe how did it really eat into your pocket when you were admitting your child?
Admitting a student in Form 1 is like now parents need to get used to it because you have to buy whatever the children need to use. You need the uniforms, the bedding, and all the requirements, the personal effects. So it was not so much because we have been doing it. My daughter was in a boarding school, so I've been doing it all along. So I did it early enough. By 20th, I'd done my shopping. So when I came yesterday, I was seeing people queuing at the depot for uniforms, but I was set already. I came from Mombasa, and in the morning we were here around 6. At 6:45, we were given numbers at the gate. I was number 1. We came in. The process started around 8, and it took us not more than 25 minutes. We had been admitted to the class, to the dormitory. Maybe
how was your budget? Did it really eat into your budget, or what can you look at in this Form 1 admission and you feel like this what I was really strained?
It was fair because the school fees is a bit lower. It is not like the previous years, and the shopping also, not many books were being bought. It was only the Bible, the Golden Bells, and the geometrical set. So to us parents, we appreciate.
Thank you very much. Mwaura, that's her parent all the way from Mombasa coming here in Uasin Gishu County, Moi Girls High School to admit her daughter here. And as this, Mwaura being January, now it's being changed the name called in January, where when people really don't have anything in their pocket, and this is the time you also need to admit your child in school, and especially when you are admitting a girl child in any school, it's very expensive, especially for a girl child. But Mwaura, as you can see, the process is going on. Just if my cameraman can show you here, the parents are there. That's the desk they are moving at now to verify those documents and see whether you are the right person who's supposed to join this institution. And then from there, they will move to another class behind us there, so that you can be shown, you can be handed over to your class teacher, and then your dormitory where the child will be spending her night and all that. And then maybe after this, Mwaura will be also moving to other school within Uasin Gishu County or Elgeyo Marakwet, just to check how the processes are going on. Mwaura.
Well, John Wanyama, thank you so much for that update. Always a pleasure chatting with you every morning on Citizen Extra, and we'll definitely be coming back to you once you're able to make your way to another school. Well, we'll also be taking you to Mombasa County, Meru County as well, and other parts of the country, just to find out what is happening there in regards to the admission of Form 1 students. A very busy time for schools across the country, and we endeavor to keep you updated in regards to the same. I want to get some thoughts now from my guests here in studio, and before we do that, I'd like to read a tweet that was posted yesterday by lawyer Donald Kipkorir. If we can have that tweet up now on the screen, and this is for my guest. He tweeted, why is our media reporting every day about bright students' fear of missing out on school because of poverty? Thought school fees were waived. Or who is running fake news? Let me get a reaction to that tweet from my guest here in studio. I'll start with Dr. Nicholas Leting. As I mentioned earlier, he's a council member, KICD, and also the Vice Chancellor, Management University of Africa. Daktari, your thoughts about that tweet? Is there a point that he's trying to make, or you think he's taken matters out of context?
Thank you very much, Waiga. First of all, before I make a statement on that tweet, allow me to congratulate all the Form 1 students. It reminds me 30 years ago when I was a Form 1 in Kapsabet Boys. And therefore, regarding to the tweet from Donald Kipkorir, I think there could be some parents who lack information as to where the children are supposed to go and how much they pay. You see the parent in Moi Girls Eldoret, she's not complaining about any fees payment. I think they're paying the minimum, the standards that have been set by the government of 53,000 for schools in some urban cities. And therefore, I do not see, I think in my view, that could be a misplaced...
But you have not seen the articles in newspapers, the stories in the media about parents begging for help to educate their children, you know, because especially a lot of bright, you know, students. I don't know if you've seen any articles. I saw such a nature.
I think there could be, there's a situation where parents may not be so much aware of how much the fees the government is paying for their children in schools. And I saw some write-up yesterday, and I am not so convinced really that there could be some people who may miss going to their schools. I saw one case where a student was going to miss a school in Alliance and such kind of places. But I think they are misplaced in my view.
Okay. Yes. Amos Kaburu, who's with the Toys East Africa, your thoughts on that tweet, even as you also share your thoughts about the big day that is today?
Thank you, Wahiga, and congratulations. Once again, I join Daktari in congratulating all our students for their hard work and earning a place in some of these places. There are definitely those who are not very happy with where they were placed, and therefore they want maybe to work in one way or the other to get the schools of their choices. But looking at what lawyer Donald Kipkorir has tweeted, actually is quite sarcastic. But it's not just sarcastic, but it really brings out the real issues. Because when you look at this narrative around free education, is a narrative that we have to help the Kenyan public come to appreciate that there will never be free education at all. We've spoken about it, and we've emphasized that there could be elements of schooling that government is capable of managing, but in terms of looking at the entire cost of education, it's very difficult, first of all, to quantify what is the exact cost of education, because you have to include aspects such as opportunity cost, you have to include what is parental responsibility, and so to what extent will parents still have to chip in terms of meeting their educational needs for their children. But to put this issue into context, is actually the implementation of what we call a blanket policy that fails to recognize a few challenges in terms of giving what we call a one-size-fits-all prescription, that you don't need the same solution to all the children. Because if you came in my own case as Amos Kaburu and gave my child 22,000 Kenya shillings for fee, together with Daktari who is here, I'm not holding brief for him, and actually taken my neighbor who is Mr. Wavomba in the village in Chakalini Primary and also gave their child 22,000. I think in a way you would have been a little bit unfair to Mr. Wavomba compared to me, because I think that Tari and I can afford to pay some 5,000 shillings more for our children compared to my neighbor Mr. Wavomba or my neighbor Mr. Tom Matolo, who could actually require some level of support.
Interesting example. So to you, the term free secondary education, free day secondary education, do you feel that term actually captures what we are seeing in our nation today, or not yet? It
is not yet there, because there are still certain cost components which will still be very costly for the average Kenyan poor parent. Remember, we are dealing with a 60% poverty, poor population of this country. So when you leave components such as infrastructure to them, you leave components such as uniforms to them, you leave components such as lunch to them, and you remember yesterday we were even costing the cost of lunch, which was coming close to 16,000. You see, uniform could come up
for an annual cost.
Yes, for an annual cost. Then you're talking about maybe uniforms costing another maybe 7,000 or 8,000. Even these small little things of buying a Bible, what 3,000 shillings. Because we've seen even parents in primary schools who are struggling to raise 600 shillings for their children. So it means that the children of the poor in this country will continue suffering. And the cure to this will really be more implementing policies around affirmative action, coordination of resources around CDF, what is the support from county governments and such, so that we really facilitate all these children to achieve their right to free and compulsory basic.
Fair enough, Dr. Letting. I'll be coming back to you to get your reaction to what Amos has said. Let's now cross over to Mombasa County to talk to Asha Bekidusa, who is at the Sheikh Khalifa Secondary School. Just also let us know what is happening there at this moment in regards to the fact that almost 1 million Form 1 students are expected to report to various schools across the country starting today. Asha, good morning. What can you tell us?
Very good morning to you, Wahiga. I'm coming you to live from Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Secondary School here in Mombasa County. And as you can see behind me, this is an admission center where 240 students are expected to be admitted and registered in this school, Wahiga. Parents, guardians are here just to make sure that it's a D-Day for this Form 1. Remember that it's a transition period. They came from primary school and they're very excited that they'll be joining secondary school. And I'll be joined by the principal of this school, Mr. Suleiman Bwika, who will be giving me more details concerning the school. And remember, Wahiga, this is one of the best schools here in Coast. And in the last year, KCSE, it emerged actually second in Coast region and position 50-something there in actually the whole country. And it is a private school and it has also a boarding and day wing. And now joined by the principal, Mr. Suleiman Bwika, who will be giving me more details and what they are expecting from the parents. Maybe Mr. Suleiman Bwika, you tell me, how many students are you expecting to admit today?
Today alone, we are expecting 120 students. These are girls. Tomorrow we will be admitting boys, we also 120. A total of 240 students are to be admitted in the school this year.
And there has been a feeling of excitement from the parents. Maybe I've seen you talking to a few parents here and there. Maybe what's their feeling concerning, because everybody is rushing to this school considering that it's one of the best schools in Coast Province.
They are very excited. We have a process when we admit our students here. They must have meet our requirements before they are admitted. And all those who have come today are those who have already met our requirements. For example, they must have attained at least 360 and above marks. And we also do have an interview which they undergo during the holidays, which they all have undergone and they have all passed. So now they have brought their kids. We have given them all the admission instructions and they are now going through the process of being admitted.
Perhaps you tell us the secret of success, because Sheikh Khalifa has been the academic giant in this area. What's the secret in you maintaining that position every time?
Well, Sheikh Khalifa, we really work hard. Parents support us. The teachers are very, very hardworking. And the students, when they come here, they have to adhere to our standards. And so far, we have maintained our process, which really makes them work very hard. They are very disciplined. We maintain discipline from day one up to the end. And that is why we have been always successful.
Maybe a word of advice to the students who are joining Form 1 in your school. What would you like to tell them?
Well, we make sure, first of all, that they are very comfortable. We have both boarders and day students. So when they join here, they go through our program, which is very, very tight. And if they stick to the program, then they have no problem in this school. The program is very, very adhered, is very, very strict. And we believe that if they follow the program and they work hard, then they will be successful just like their colleagues who are here. They are guided by the teachers and their colleagues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Suleiman Bika. And I'll be now joined by one of the students who will be giving me and telling me maybe how excited they are concerning this program and what they did until they made sure that they succeed until they joined this secondary school. Tell me, what is your name and how do you feel that you're joining Form 1?
My name is Salama Saeed. I'm feeling very happy for this chance. I've got 362. I'm learning in Boreni Girls Primary School.
Which primary school did you go to?
Boreni Girls Primary School.
Okay, thank you very much. And one more student, tell me, what is your name and are you excited to join Form 1 at Sheikh Khalifa?
Saeeda Muhammad. I'm very excited to join Form 1 in Sheikh Khalifa.
Which primary school did you come from and how many marks did you get?
Triza Junior School, 396.
Thank you very much. Wahiga, as you've heard, there are mixed reactions. All the students here are very excited actually for this transition because they'll be joining Form 1, and it is a process which everybody feels when they undergo this process. Actually, the transition from class 8 until Form 1, it's a very exciting process, and most of them are looking forward until the 4 years so that they can be successful. And now back to you, Wahiga, in studio.
Thank you, Asha, for that update. Truly, you can just hear in their voices the optimism they have as they look forward to the next couple of years. And of course, the fact that they made it to a school of that repute is very good for them. Wishing them all the best as they enter this new phase of their life. Well, we carry on with our discussion in studio. Let me come back to Dr. Leting. Switch gears a little bit now. Let's talk about the new curriculum and the national rollout in regards to the same. It was to be and for me, I'd like to get from you an update on where we are in regards to the new curriculum and what challenges the ministry has faced in the rollout across the country and the plan. Maybe I can get your thoughts on that.
Thank you very much, Waiga. Kenya started the process of curriculum reform about 10 years ago when there was change in the gazettement of KICD from former KIE, and the process has been very consultative from that time. Last year there were a lot of consultations between the stakeholders and the government of Kenya, led by the Ministry of Education and the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, where I am a council member. And so the thinking then is that although there was a lot of hype about launching the curriculum change or system reform change this year, a lot of consultations came into being, and there was an issue that required a bit of a legal amendment, where there is need for sessional paper to be passed through Parliament and through the Cabinet to be able to be approved, so that there is a legal backing of the new curriculum that is being proposed. Now, that being the case, we are saying that the 844 system will still be in operation until next year, when we shall really roll out the new curriculum of 2663 in 2019. But meanwhile, this year we shall still be doing phase 2 of the curriculum pilot process for pre-primary 1, pre-primary 2, grade 1, which is former class 1, grade 2, and up to grade 2. Next year we shall now be going up to grade 4, because we shall be doing a full pilot for all the classes, all the schools in Kenya for pre-primary 1, that is from age 4, and then pre-primary 2, which is age 5, and then grade 1 and grade 2, which is the former class 1 and 2, will now be done also in this year.
Before I bring in Amos, Doctor, sorry to interrupt you on that note. You said that there was a lot of hype about the anticipated launch of the curriculum this year.
Yes.
But some would say that hype came from your organization, from the Ministry of Education, that they had told Kenyans over and over again that this is the year that the new curriculum will be launched. And so many are wondering, had you collectively as a group bitten off more than you could chew?
Thank you. Technically, we are ready as KICD and the Ministry of Education to roll out this. But there are many stakeholders. There are parents, for example. There are pupils who are going to be joining the school. And also, of course, there are other stakeholders. And therefore, when we did the first phase of the piloting, what came out was that some level of preparedness was required more in the amongst our teachers, the pupils also, but we are ready, because if you look at the pilot studies, the pilot project that was done last year, a lot of it revealed that a number of our pupils are ready, and a number of our teachers are very excited about the whole new curriculum, because it has been consulted. There has been a lot of consultations from 2004, if I remember very well.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. I think I've understood what you're trying to get at. Let me come to you, Amos. Yeah. Before you respond to what Dr. has had to say, let me read an SMS from a viewer to you. Yeah. He says he finds that you are tending to communicate that the move by the government towards free education in all public schools cannot work, and that you are suggesting a fallback to old ways of fees charging education. He's asking you to clarify your position. I can give you a chance to briefly clarify before you talk about new curriculum matters.
Thank you so much, Wahiga. What we are asking, or what I'm proposing, is a formula that first of all equalizes everyone. To say that government is capable of subsidizing free education up to a certain level, which is 22,373 that it has proposed. But then we have got specific categories, the way it has gone further to look at children with disabilities, and is giving an additional grant that will facilitate them to get this kind of education. Then it also now needs to move further and say that children who are coming from particular settings who are poor could get an additional grant of maybe 10,000 or maybe 7,000, so that you're trying to ensure that you're using an equity model, but not just giving everyone 22,000 and then keeping quiet to it, because that way you still not have eliminated the barriers to education that the poor households of this country are facing. So we really commend what the government has spent, the 29 billion, but the issue is that it will not make sense if at all we can keep these children in school maybe for 3 terms, or some of them are not able to report to school today just because of additional barriers, and they end up missing what others will already be learning.
So there's a lot of standardization that needs to be done, you feel, and
not standardization, because actually what we've now done is standardization, but now we need now to move to an equity model, where we say that all children, yes, get 22,000, but children from particular households or children with particular conditions now get an additional allocation of maybe 5,000 or 7,000, the way the constitution allows in the CRA that certain counties get this allocation.
I was about to say almost in a similar manner to the way devolution works.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what we need. But it's actually a good starting point, but we can work towards ensuring that even by next year, if actually you allocate like an additional 4 billion, it could work. Number 2, we already still have resources within the system, such as CDF. We've seen what the county government of Kwale has done. It's actually paying for all the children from the county who are attending national schools. But the fact is that there could be children, some of these children who are coming from well-off families, which perhaps their parents could afford to pay 10,000. So rather than clearing all fee for all children who are going to national schools, you could actually you could reallocate this 10,000 to other more deserving children, so that you can say that if we're able to map in a particular county or in a particular sub-county or in a particular constituency, we say that we have got 4,000 children who are going to Form 1. And for us to educate these 4,000 children, we require 100 million. Then we can say that government grants, government capitation is going to give us 60 million. How do we feed for the deficit? We can say that 20% the parents are going to cater for it, and maybe another 20 million, 20% will be coming from county government, and maybe another 5% will be coming from CDF. That's how you need to look at it from such a corporate approach, as opposed to this idea of looking at every child per se. And then you have got huge constituencies of children who are left out of benefiting from a very, very important component like what we are trying to implement.
I think that's a good way to respond to that. Viewer, can you now talk a little bit about the new curriculum and, of course, respond to what Dr. Eting had to say?
Yeah, it is... actually, we should tell Kenyans that the new curriculum is actually one of the best things that is going to happen after a slice of bread, if I borrow what another analyst said somewhere. Now, this new curriculum is coming to respond to critical issues, and I think we are not going to delve into that. But however, what we need to tell the process mover is that there is something which the institute or largely the ministry is missing out. And that is what is the driver to change. I think that's what the institute where Daktari sits and the ministry are largely failing to appreciate. And I have recommended time and again that the institute and the ministry required a change management specialist. Because a lot of what is happening in Wahiga is based on misinformation. Largely most of Kenyans, and I want to go on record for saying while I'm on Citizen Extra that Kenyans are largely a bunch of ignorant individuals who are living, and I want actually to be quoted.
I need to stop you there, Amos. I don't think that's a fair statement to make.
Okay, fine.
You cannot speak on behalf of 44 million people unless you visited each of them and studied them to make such a statement.
Sorry, then I retracted my comment. Yes, I've retracted my comment.
Okay.
Now, this is what I want to say, that we've got a significant portion of Kenyans who largely live on social media. That is, we just want to look at what we call the 140 or the 280 characters that people have posted on social media, whether it's on Twitter or whether it's on Facebook. And we actually want to carry this information along without necessarily diagnosing what is happening. Now, for a fact, the government has actually done a lot in terms of stakeholder input into what is happening in the new curriculum. But it's just that we also have to ask ourselves the question, how much should the government be giving us in terms of information, and how much do we also as a citizen also need to go out and look for this information? Because what is happening is that we are having a lot of people who are plugging into the process and expect that the train should stop so that they are properly taken through. So maybe you begin interacting with the process today. Then you start telling KICD that you've not involved us, telling us how did you come up with the needs assessment report. And we are telling you that this is a process that has been going on for the last 8 years. So what we are saying that for Kenyans, as you plug into the curriculum reform process, as we want everybody to come to the bandwagon, I think it's just only fair that you recognize and appreciate where the institute is coming from and where the government is coming from. But on the part of the government, it's important that they look at a way in which this information would reach people in a way that it will make sense to them. Because as I've said, the success of the curriculum is not how well Daktari and I are able to articulate it on national television. It's only fair that the very people who are going to be the consumers, the parents, the children, the people who are going to implement this curriculum, who are teachers, are able to articulate it very, very well. And lastly on this aspect,
finally, please.
Yes, to look at the issue of the teachers. I think it is only fair that we look at change, not in terms of just giving teachers information. I think there is a problem when KICD merges that just by putting teachers together and taking them through, explaining to them what the curriculum is all about, is enough for them to implement the curriculum. I think the challenge we have is that we have lots of challenges around attitudes that teachers bring in terms of implementing the curriculum. And this is not going to happen with a training of 3 days. So I think, Daktari, you need to appreciate this and really understand what is it that will take for teachers to appreciate the whole process and therefore move on board with you.
Thank you, Amos. Let me give Daktari a chance to respond to what you've had to say. Daktari, go ahead.
Thank you, Waiga. The whole question of implementation of any new thing that is changing is true that we need a change in attitude. And for me, what we have learned as KICD is that last year we did a lot of training for our teachers and the implementers of the new curriculum. But we noticed from the feedback of the phase 1 of the pilot that teachers require more time, and that is why we accepted that the whole of this year, culminating in a national conference or curriculum conference in August this year, we need to continue training teachers and also training other stakeholders, including parents, because parents are also wondering what is this new curriculum, what is informing it, and yet we know we have done needs assessment over the years, and it has come out that a lot of us pupils are getting lost because we do not identify their talents at an early age and try to support the children to attain their potential, and therefore that's why we came up with this competency-based curriculum that allows a student or a pupil to identify their potential, whether they are good in sports or arts or in what you call STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, as well as the social sciences. So those are the pathways that we shall be able to allow the pupils to go through later on when they are after grade 9. But having said that, Waiga, I would like to say to my friend that KICD and the Ministry of Education has done a lot in terms of involving parents and the other stakeholders like the teachers. And therefore, the only thing that we can say is that we need to continuously remind them of that, because sometimes we forget so fast what we learned yesterday, and therefore that's why they need for revision. And that's why, for example, even as we go through the new system that we are proposing that to start in 2019, there's need for us to see how to phase out the 844 system in a good way, so that we do not have people falling back to it, because we require that in year 1, pre-primary 1 and 2, the pupils learn the basics of the language, the numeracy, and the psychomotor activities, where they are able to demonstrate knowledge of some of the things they can do for themselves.
Okay.
They also need to learn about nutrition and environment.
Okay.
Yeah, hygiene and nutrition. Yes.
In fact, let me ask you something. So, what sort of final product will this new curriculum be expected to churn out? And let me tell you why I ask this. There are those from a group of thought or certain analysts that feel that the problem of the Kenyan youth, which is one of the key issues I believe the new curriculum is supposed to address, is how they'll be gainfully employed in the next 10 to 20 years. That's a big discussion that's been happening in the nation. And there are those who say that the problem of Kenyan youth and how they'll be employed is not just a matter of the curriculum itself, but is a bigger discussion than how many years you spend in school, or whether you did 844, whether you did this new system, etc. What is your take on that?
My take, thank you, Waiga. My take on this is that what we expected, if you recall that in 1985, when the 844 system was started, the original thinking was the need for self-reliance. And I think I must say that the first 4 or 5 years of the 844 system was very perfect in terms of the intention of that. Because I remember when we were in primary school, we were building houses, and we were doing home science, and we were doing music and all those kind of things. We were identifying talents. Some of us went through those lines and they were able to succeed. Now, there was the question of the outcome, the expected learning outcomes, or what the output of this system is that once we produce the person who will go through the 2663 system, we expect these people to be able to promote self-reliance as well. The issues of self-employment, creating employment opportunities, and being able to be available for the market in the global level. We are not producing people for only Kenyan market, we're also producing them for other areas like other countries in the world.
Okay. Amos, I'll come to you to get a reaction to that, but for now, let's switch gears briefly from matters education and also let you know what's happening around the world. On Citizen Extra, we give you a little bit of everything, and for now, this is what's happening globally. We start in Libya, where the Libyan Coast Guard has rescued 140 migrants from a sinking dinghy early yesterday morning after receiving distress calls saying a boat carrying African migrants had broken